Hi guys, welcome back. So today we got this Kona, the one that I diagnosed regarding the timing over advance issue. It's in the exhaust side, if I'm correct. So I just drained our oil, our coolant, because usually when I do this job, I want it to be easier. So I just remove the oil pan. Some people just remove the bolts here where it's attached to the timing chain cover, but I didn't do that. I just want to remove everything so that I can seal it nicely. I usually remove our water pump too, and our AC compressor. So I removed our refrigerant already. So I'm gonna go ahead with that. We're just gonna focus on this video on how to set up the timing, the removal process of the timing chain cover, right? So and also you're gonna remove your belt, right? So before removing the belt, use a 10 mm to loosen the bolt on the water pump pulley. So usually I use this guy, a long wrench, and then I'll just loosen all 4 bolts there so that it's easier for me to remove it later when I remove the belt, because sometimes you forget about that and you need something to jam the pulley just to remove the bolt on the water pump pulley. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead loosen all these bolts here, these 4 bolts on our water pump pulley. I think it's easier to do it from the top, but since I'm already at the bottom, because I'm gonna remove the what do you call that, oil pan, so that's why I'm doing it from the bottom. Oops. And then to remove the belt, there's you're gonna use a 12.17 mm. So I have this wrench again, 17 mm. Go on there. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's in that corner, and then you can just remove that, right? So I'm gonna go ahead, remove the oil pan, right? And remove our compressor. Belt is out already, and we're gonna lower the engine, and then we can start removing stuff on this area, right? Okay, so I remove our oil pan. Usually I just remove it, and when I'm gonna support the engine, because we're gonna remove the mount, usually use a wooden block and just jack on one of its side here, right? You got your pickup tube, be careful with that, right? Or you can sometimes put back the pan, but sometimes it's hard to when you remove the chain cover. To remove the pan, so we got this notch here, right? You can use that with a small screw, flat pry bar, and just pry it a little bit so you got a small opening, and then you can use this as a chisel to open up the oil pan. So usually I use this guy here, right? It's gonna be on this side here. So now I'm gonna lower this engine, and we're gonna work on the top of the engine now. Okay, so first remove your negative cable on the battery. So we're gonna remove the alternator. Let's put this out. Let's use this cover. Okay. And then also we're gonna remove the bulb cover, right? So make sure whatever connected on top of the bulb cover, you're gonna remove that. Your oil control bulb at the back, ignition coil, your hose here, and your vacuum hose to the intake too, your connection to the camshaft, and that should be straightforward to remove the bulb cover there. And then your alternator, you got your power cable here, 12 mm, remove that, and then there's gonna be 12 mm at the bottom of the alternator and 14 here, so you can remove that whole alternator assembly, right? Your belt, make sure before you loosen that belt you wrote at least a pattern for it, so that you don't have to guess later in removing it or installing. And also I remove our right front wheel there with the wheel liner, so that it's easy as access for our crankshaft there, pulley. The trickier part here is our tensioner here, our serpentine belt tensioner. As you can see there, there's not much room. Usually, I'll show you guys when I'm gonna start removing that. When I remove that, I remove our mount, right? So that I can lift it up a little bit or adjust it how it is. Because you're gonna remove the center bolt there. It's a Torx, and 14 mm bolt there at the back. So let me remove the what do you call that, alternator, water pump pulley, valve cover, and then we can come back again once I'm removing this what do you call that, this engine mount. Okay, so removing the alternator, I remove our valve cover already, so all the wires I just put it aside. Removing the alternator, this guy is in here. This is for our variable force solenoid. I just removed that, there's 10 mm there. And on the Elantros, I didn't have to remove this line here, but it's on the way, and since we remove our refrigerant, right, and compressor, I just remove it, and it's easier to come out for the alternator. So that's new to me, because I don't know if I correctly remember if I did some Kona timing chain, but yeah. So now my next will be, I'm gonna remove my pulley here, water pump pulley, and then we can I think raise the engine to remove this mount here, and then we can remove our assembly, the tensioner for our drive bolt. Okay, so I supported already our engine there with a jack stand and the wood, so I'm gonna remove our mount now. There's 3 nuts, 1 bolt, that's 17 mm. The bottom part of the base on this mount here, that's 14. So oh, and also I forgot to mention the first few minutes of recording, and I said last time that I also recommend a short block, since consuming of oil or whatever, right? Let me lower this. The thing is, because I think this is still under warranty, so they didn't approve that. So that's our upper mount of the top part of our mount. I dropped 1 nut there, so I should not forget about that. And then this guy here, 14 mm. Aside. Okay. Now, as I said last time, that I remove our bolt for our water pump, right? So make sure this one, because I think you need to, raise a little bit the engine. Let me raise a little bit the engine, or lower the car. This one, let me try. The tricky part on this one is just the right spot. Oh God. More. Wow. What? Why is it like this? Don't tell me I have to loosen this bolt here for this line. Just do that quick. So, okay, so let's use. Can I remove this guy? Okay, good. Let's put that back there. Our pulley. Now, so the torques for this. Okay, so this is T50. So the center bolt is T50. Okay, so I loosen our center bolt here. The torque's T50, right? Then we're gonna remove the back one there, 14 mm. Okay, so remove our drive bolt tensioner assembly. Okay, so next is our crankshaft pulley. Usually when I do this, as I said last time, I think I remove the water pump assembly. It's easier for me because we need to wiggle this out, and especially when installing it, because with the silicone gasket, right? So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead, remove our water pump. Just put a bucket at the bottom. So there's at least 5, I think 5 10 mm bolts on this one. I think there's one at the bottom. Okay. Remove this. Oops. Slowly. Now, as you can see there, more clearer, especially the bolts here. Now I'm gonna remove our crankshaft pulley. There's it's a 22 mm there. So I'm just gonna lift off the vehicle just to access the bolt. Ah.
I know you're busy,
Yeah.
but I think what? Well, I think my wheel bearing on my mom's car is gone.
Remove the pulley. Right. Now it's all clear now. We can start removing all the bolts. Right. So we're gonna start removing bolts at the bottom. Right. So it's just all 12 mm. I think. Is there a 10 mm in the middle there? I don't think so. So it's all 12 mm at the bottom. So let's go at the bottom and then let's remove some of the stuff there. Then we can come back on the top. Okay, so let's remove this. I got at least what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 at least at the bottom. And if you're not sure which bolt is going to which hole, just mark it. Okay? But usually how I know is, I'm gonna explain it on top later. Oops, that's tight. Wow. That's a long one there. That's a long one. I'm just gonna remove this last one here. Okay, so now we're gonna go on top of the engine now, and then let's remove some bolts there. Okay, so we got 12 mm here on the side. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm just loosening it. Okay. And the 14 mm. At least there's 4 here. It's in the center. Oh, that's tight. Yeah, and there's one at the bottom there. So they have different lengths. Like this. So as I mentioned earlier, usually when I do it, so let's say this 2, when I put it here, as you can see there, that's 2 in, right? So that's wrong one. Usually when I put a bolt, there's a small gap here. So I know now that that bolt goes into that specific hole, because this one, that's too long, as you can see there. So that's usually I do it. So if you're not comfortable with that, you can always mark it, put in a cardboard, put all the position of those bolts, right? So now we're gonna, I think I'm just gonna remove all the 12 mm. There's another 10 mm here at the bottom, right? This one is tight. CVVT.
Oh, timing velocity timing, yeah? Valve velocity timing. The most common problem of this, that one is a tensioner.
In this case, I think this one not jump, but the pin is broken because it's stuck in advance. So that's it. Usually, if it's a chain
Advance,
issue,
which one? Exhaust or
exhaust.
Exhaust.
Yeah.
Tensioner.
Huh?
Tensioner.
What tensioner?
The timing tensioner.
What do you mean?
Tensioner.
Oh.
Because they are using just a simple spring. What about that?
Yeah. Because sometimes I notice also like right now the V6 one, like they're starting to fail because the bolt that goes into the shaft, that's loose and causing it to spin and damage the dowel. And I cut some of it because every time, like let's say I replace something, let's say a CVVT, I just do it like this and then it's loose already. Like what the heck? Usually I have to struggle that, lock it and then do like that, right?
For Nissan, V6 Nissan, all of them, V6, Nissan Z, Nissan Murano, everything, V6. It's so simple. You can open it, that gap is a here is a have it one door. You can open it and open it inside the CVV. Just use it some iron bulb. You can just fix it.
Yeah.
Fix it. Fix it without no VVT.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a simple.
Yeah.
You can work it.
Yeah.
Without no fault code, nothing.
Yeah.
It's simple. For Toyota, it's same. Just bring it on time and make a hole and use it one bolt Block.
Stuck. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But one of them, I think, is a Sonata. It's an electric. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's a really bad thing. It's a really bad thing.
Yeah. The electric CVVT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the even the like most of the
They are using the two charcoal.
So it's using electricity to move the CVVT
Yeah.
itself. Yeah. Okay, so there's no power tools can get in here. I'm just gonna remove it by hand now. Oh. There's another 12 on the end. Okay, and then there's two more here. Okay, so now 10 mm here. Okay, that's our last bolt, 10 mm. Oh, there's another one here. Okay, let's remove that. This is our last. Oh, that's loose already. Okay, so all the bolts are out. Now it's time to pry it out, the cover. So now to pry it, just be careful. So usually what I do first is from the CVVT itself. Okay, that's nice. And move right away because sometimes it's stuck. So let's say if you're replacing intake, just pry it from the intake because you're replacing the intake, right? Since I'm replacing the exhaust, I'm just gonna do the exhaust side and then pry it from the side because it's stuck in the dowel itself. So you're just gonna work your way through this one. And need multiple pry bar. So locate your other dowel, because I think it's in the dowel that gets stuck. Okay, that's out. The bottom. Now we're gonna work on the other side now. Okay, that's good. That's moving nicely. Coming out now slowly. Okay, now the question is, you need to angle this because the shaft on the crankshaft, right, it's kind of stuck. So usually I've forgotten how I angle this. Do I need to go up or lower? I think this one, I think I need to lower a little bit. So let's see this. Still stuck. It's stuck. Let's try this. Just a tricky part, so let me find the best location and then I'll show you what position that I did. Okay, so I find a good angle now, so I reposition our jack stand at the bottom as much as possible in the corner of the short block, right, so that the engine will tilt like this or something like that. So I reposition that. Now at least on this bottom end here, this hole here, right, at least you align it, or more or less on the frame of the vehicle. So you're gonna remove it now, because that's why you need to be perfect. At least it's smooth coming out, because putting it in you need to be smooth because of this silicone gasket, right? So let's remove this now. I'll show you how I remove it. And the positioning of removal, right? So okay, so now set up. I'm gonna remove it, come out from the, I don't know if you guys can see that, I got my light there, come out from the shaft itself, the crankshaft, and then we're gonna move it this side, because we're coming out from this side here. And you just have to be very careful, because you're gonna hit the dowel pin there. There you go. Okay, slide it out, slide in the bottom and up. Okay, so that's out now, but you have to be careful, because putting back in, there's silicone gasket here. So later, because this is where it hits on the double pin on the crankshaft, on the engine side we'll put some ultra grade there, or silicone gasket. At least we can reinforce that side of the cover, right? So I'm gonna put this aside because I have to clean that. clean this timing chain cover. So that's the removal, right? Now what we're gonna do is remove the tensioner first, right? Is there 10 mm? If you're not comfortable, because there's mark on the crankshaft there, you can also mark on the CVVT, that dot there, and also in here there's a dot here. I'm gonna show you that when we set up the timing. So I'm gonna remove our tensioner first, loosen the belt. Oh, that's tight. We're gonna replace new tensioner for this. Usually I always ask for new tensioner when doing a timing job. Okay, now we can remove our timing chain guide. That's 12 mm. So let's gonna remove this left side first. Oh, that's tight. Ooh. Oh. That's okay, that's normal. I went on the other side. So here's our guide, left side. And now we're gonna remove our fixed guide here. Same thing, 12 mm. Now let's remove this guy. Chain. Okay, now I'm gonna remove our CVVT. That's 14 mm. Because we're gonna replace that CVVT, right? Oh, it's gonna spin, so we need to lock it. Let's move this guy here first. So let me spin this a little bit. Oops. No. So on this top of the valve train, there's like a square pattern here. You can use your adjustable wrench there. So that's what I'm gonna do, just to hold this. Okay, so let's hold. Loosen this. Okay, it's not that tight. So let's see how's the condition on this Okay, so that's our bolt. I'm just gonna remove this guy. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see there, that's damaged. No more dowel pin. Dowel pin is in here. So usually that's why I ask for new shaft, because it's stuck in there, right? Or if you're a good welder, you can also weld that to save the shaft and remove it from there. So let me grab the new one. So here's our new exhaust CVVT. As you can see there, the dowel is on the CVVT side compared to our old one that's damaged already. Okay, now so we're gonna remove the hold down for this carrier to remove the shaft, right? So we'll just do from outside to inside. We're gonna remove first all the 10mm bolts here. Next is the 12mm. Wow, that's tight. Oh my god. Just move your shaft. It will help this carrier here, carrier lock or whatever you call that, hold down. And there's numbers here, so you will not miss anything because it's all by numbered. You just have to put it the same way. Okay, remove our old shaft, and then we're gonna install our new one. Okay, so we're gonna install our new one. Just do a comparison with the old one. Okay, Now we're gonna install back our locking carrier here. Hand thread first. Make sure before you install, the rollers there are all installed correctly there. Sometimes when you remove it, it will fall before you tighten all this stuff here. Okay, so now we're gonna do the So we're gonna do the 12mm first. So 12mm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. So there's a sequence. Just snug it because we're gonna torque it later. And then 10mm, same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's supposed to be here. Now run again all the 12mm. Then your 10mm again. Okay, so now we're gonna torque 12mm first. Torque spec for that is 16.6 foot-pound. Mm, 16.6. Okay. I'm just gonna run through again to the 10 mm because we don't have to spin it. Okay. Now for the 10 mm is 10.1 foot-pound. Okay, that's good. I'm just gonna go back again to our 12 mm just to make sure there. Okay, so that's done. So before I install our CVVT here, since I had this, at least I have good space, I'm gonna clean all the gasket in here on our engine side, right? Let me just remove this gasket for our water pump. So I'm just gonna clean that and then we'll come back again, install our CVVT on the exhaust side. Okay, now we're gonna install our CVVT. So I clean up our surface here, make sure that there's no ultra gray, make sure that the debris when you clean up, make sure that it's not there. I clean up our timing chain cover too. So you got your dowel pin on your CVVT. It should match on the hole on the shaft, so that should click. You can just spin it around. There you go. Your bolt, you gotta torque it to 56 foot-pound. Let me just snag this. Same thing, your open end adjustable wrench, and then 56 foot-pound. Let me grab a smaller. Shorter. Okay, there. Last one. Okay, so let's start to spec. Okay, next is we're gonna install our guide, our chain. So let me turn this. Let me move this guy up here. Okay, so let's position our markings on our intake first. So I'm just using a wrench here, 17 mm to turn it. So what you're looking for is, there you go. See that yellow mark? That's our mark for our chain. And for exhaust, I'm gonna put it there, yellow mark there on the exhaust. Gear, yellow mark here on our intake. for our crank, we're gonna go down. I don't know if you guys can see it. Under here, our crank will be this up. This is hard. So our crank is this guy here. There's a mark there, right near my finger. We're gonna position that down. We're gonna turn it. We're gonna position down here. Okay, we're gonna position it down here. So I'm gonna turn that. I'll show you which one is the mark. Okay, let's see if you guys can see it. So the mark here is this guy here. So now let's go install our guides and position our chain. Okay, so on your chain you got 2 yellow markings. All right, that's for the top. The white mark, that's gonna be your bottom. So just gonna position it here right now, right there. Maybe we need to turn this. Oh, I jump. So sometimes we need to hold this guy, but let's just position this yellow first. Yellow mark on the intake, because this one we can adjust it, right? And then the white one, we're gonna put it on the crank. So let me go there, and then I'll just show you guys later. Okay, so more or less it's there, the white mark there. Now we're gonna put our guides. Alright, go here first, the fixed guide. Let's do the fixed guide first. Okay, the torque spec for that is 16 foot-pound. Okay. Now you can see there's still some slack. We can adjust that. Turn the crank, right? Make sure that this side has no slack, because this is the fixed guide here. Okay, so this one should have no slack. Yeah, no slack. Now we're gonna install our other side of the guide. Yes, sir. I'm putting our guide now. Same thing, 16-foot tall. Okay. Now let me just double check down if my mark is still there. Okay, so the mark is still there. Just need to pull this like that. Now we're gonna turn this CVVT here and match the chain and the mark on the gear. So you need your 14mm socket to turn it, and while doing that you have to prepare your tensioner, right? Okay, so let's pull this. Make sure your mark on the crank is still on, right? Okay. Make sure this side here no slack. Now we're gonna turn this guy here. Okay. Hold in the position. Push it, right? With your hand. No slack here. And now we can install our tensioner now. Sometimes, as you can see there, the pin is protruded. Just push it because it's not gonna, what do you call that, sit correctly there on the surface, because this is flat to the engine. Position it like that while holding that guide, because if you're gonna lose that guide, the gear will spin. Okay. Oh, see? That's what happened. Okay, now we're gonna redo it again. I just hand thread that, what do you call that, tensioner now. So let's go back again. I hope we can do it. No, I don't think so. So we need to remove this guy here before doing that. Or if you want, you can ask someone to help you. Okay. Okay. I didn't prepare my electric gun here, so I'm just gonna hand tight it. Okay, so while holding that, you know what, I'm gonna hold it like this because I want to see first before I pull the pin. Make sure that the crank is still on mark. Okay, so I'm good to go. Okay, now while holding that, pull your pin. There you go. And then next is we're gonna torque the tensioner 8.7 foot-pound. One, two. Okay, so that's good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it. We have to turn the crankshaft twice, and then you can see this marking here. You can see this mark here for the intake. The exhaust is on the CVVT itself. This one is in the front. Right, we're gonna turn it twice. Make sure that these two are lined up on the cylinder head. And as you can see there, how position of our lobes is facing up. And then our crank position, it's there, right, with the white mark and the mark on the crankshaft. Now, so it's either you get an open and adjustable wrench to turn it, or you can use your crankshaft bolt to turn it, but let's just turn it here. So that's one. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Now, as you can see there, our mark is almost there, this guy, so that should cross each other. I'm just gonna go slowly. Okay, more or less there. Oops, more or less there. So our position now, let's line up. Right, looks like, let's line up. Position of the dot is on top. And then our mark on the crankshaft, it's gonna be here. So that's around 330 if you're using a clock version. So 330. Okay, so now I just have to put everything back together. Tension is there, right? We torque everything. Now I just have to put our timing chain cover. That's gonna be for for Monday, and then we'll come back, install the timing chain cover. I'll put everything back together. Then we're gonna start the vehicle, and it should start normally and no codes. So that's how you set up timing CVVT on the Hyundai Kona. Hyundai Elantra is the same. We share the same engine, right? So we'll get back. Alright guys, so we're back with this vehicle. I'm gonna apply now the silicone gasket, right? And we have to apply it not too thick, because you don't wanna block the passages here. So I'm gonna show you what I use, how I usually apply it. So this is an ultra gray from Permatex. Okay, put a hole there. Usually I'll cut the second part of here. Okay, now we're gonna go from the inside. We're gonna apply this from the inside or where the holes are, right? Like that. Here, just circle, and the same thing on the other side. Now the challenge part is putting this back in. As you can see there, there's some gasket there. So we're gonna put some liquid gasket on the engine side, right? And usually before I apply this, I do a practice run first, dry run on how I'm gonna maneuver the cover so that you know you can follow that, because it's gonna be hard with a with a gasket and you're doing your practice. So okay, I'm just gonna apply some. That's gonna be this side here, because that's where it's hitting on the, what do you call that, on the shaft, right, on the camshaft, this side of the engine. So I'm gonna apply some there, and then we can install our cover. Okay, let's do this. So we came out from this side. We're gonna just go slowly. Problem on this one was it was too tight when we removed it. Now, to be honest with you, I told you to do a dry run, and I didn't do a dry run. The tricky part is the bottom part here. Did we do like this? That's not good, man. Okay. Do I need to go up? Let me try adjusting it. Oh my. Okay, so I was able to force it. That's why it's important to do a dry run before putting ultra gray, so that what do you call that? It's more smoother. Unlike earlier, I'm struggling to put it on. So anyway, I just reinforced some silicone gasket on the side that it was, taken off while moving in. And also important thing, the crankshaft there, the oil pump at the bottom is that part of the timing chain cover. So make sure that's what's the orientation of the crankshaft. There's like a flat spot. Make sure that you put that on the same, almost the same, so that it's easier for you to push it in. So now I'm here already. I'm gonna install the timing chain cover going into the engine. So right now it's not going in nicely. I have to double check that flat spot there on the engine cover. Okay, so when we put that in, you go. Just tap it in. There's some we can start putting our bolts just to push it in. So the torque spec on this one is the 12 mm. So the 12 mm is 17 foot-pound, the 14 mm is 36, and then the 10 mm is 8.7. So I'm just gonna use these two bolts just to push in our cover. That's all in, whatever silicone gasket that you have, like for example on the crankshaft, just clean that off while it's still, you know, soft, because you don't want to have that harden and you have to clean it more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna install all our bolts for a connection cover. As I said, the 14 mm is 36 foot-pound, the 12 mm is 17, and the 10 mm, which is there's only one, is 8.7 foot-pound. And then we can come back. I'm gonna install everything back together: a water pump, a tensioner, drive valve tensioner, right? The whole stuff in here in the drive valve system, the valve cover. And we can come back and then we're gonna do the first startup and monitor also our set point for the intake and exhaust. Alright guys, so we're back with this car. I put everything back together. So even though I've been doing this for a long time, do that some stuff, Elantra, Kona, they're all the same. I'm still scared to first start up, so let's do a first start up here. Before, when I started up, it will just, you know, I had to press the accelerator just to make it run. So right now I think it will just crank first, right, because it's still building up the oil pressure. And I pull up our current data here in our scan tool, right? So let's do a first startup. Okay, so it started right away. So our exhaust in here is minus 115. It's kind of shaky right now. I don't know why is it shaking. Is it misfiring? Yeah, there's cylinder number 1 misfire. Okay, maybe there's something wrong there. But our main issue last time was on our positioning on our exhaust, right? Because that was the code. So let me double check that spark plug first, or whatever, the ignition system. Because why is it misfire? Okay, right now. Okay, so right now I don't feel any shaking right now, and as you can see there on our misfire counter is all 0. Right now the RPM is stable, right? So yeah, no check engine light. I clear the code. And usually if it's like that, it's gonna come back right away. Let's see if the system is happy. So far our timing system is good there. Let's see our engine control. If the system is happy, he will say history, no active codes. What's this? Maybe this is a misfire code. Yeah, there's a misfire code. So I'm not gonna worry first the misfire code, because we're trying to fix on the, what do you call that, on the timing system. So yeah, so there's no codes for the timing system. So far everything is good. Let me shut it off and it should start right away. Yeah, so that started right away. So there's still that misfire. I can still feel the engine shaking, but that's for another another concern, or I don't know what's going on with one. It could be related from the repeated engine running when it was has a timing issue. We don't know yet, but I'll do an inspection on that one. But as far on this video, that's how you do the CVVT replacement or exhaust side on a Kona 2-liter engine, and same thing with the Elantra. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let me know what you guys think, and thanks again for watching. See you next time.